Eliza was a curious girl who loved to explore. One summer, she visited her grandmother's old house in the countryside. It was a big, creaky house with many rooms and secrets. Eliza's favourite place to explore was the attic, filled with old furniture, dusty boxes, and forgotten treasures. One afternoon, while exploring the attic, Eliza discovered an old wooden chest hidden behind some boxes. The chest was covered in dust and cobwebs. Eliza carefully opened it and found an ancient leather-bound book inside. The book had strange symbols on the cover and looked very old. Excited, Eliza blew the dust off the book and opened it. Suddenly, a bright light filled the room. Eliza felt herself being lifted off the ground. She closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, she was no longer in the attic. Eliza found herself in a magical world, full of vibrant colours and strange creatures. She was standing in a beautiful garden with flowers that glowed and trees that whispered secrets. Eliza was amazed and a little scared. She knew she had to find a way back home. As Eliza wandered through the garden, she came across a talking squirrel. The squirrel told her that to return home, she must solve riddles and face challenges. The first riddle was this: I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? Eliza thought hard about the riddle. She remembered hearing a similar riddle before. After a moment, she realized the answer was an echo. The squirrel nodded and pointed to a path that appeared before her. Eliza knew this was just the beginning of her adventure. Eliza took a deep breath and started walking down the path, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She felt a mix of excitement and determination. Eliza was ready to solve more riddles and find her way back home. Eliza walked along the path that led her into an enchanted forest. The trees were tall and twisted, their leaves shimmering in the light. Strange creatures peeked out from behind the bushes, watching her with curious eyes. Eliza felt both amazed and nervous as she ventured deeper into the forest. After walking for a while, Eliza came across a large oak tree. Sitting on one of its branches was a wise-looking owl. The owl hooted softly and flew down to perch on a lower branch. "Welcome, traveller," said the owl. "I am the guardian of this forest. To pass through safely, you must solve my riddle." The owl continued, "Here is your riddle. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Eliza thought about the riddle carefully. She remembered her science lessons and the elements that fit the description. After a moment, she confidently answered, "You are fire." The owl nodded approvingly and flapped its wings. "Correct," it said. "You may proceed." Suddenly, a new path appeared, lit by glowing lanterns. Eliza thanked the owl and continued her journey, feeling proud of her quick thinking. Eliza soon reached a shimmering river. The water was crystal clear, and she could see her reflection perfectly. On the other side of the river was a bridge guarded by a talking frog. The frog explained, "To cross the river, you must answer my riddle, but be warned, it will not be easy." The frog then asked, "I am always hungry, I must always be fed. The finger I touch will soon turn red. What am I?" Eliza pondered the riddle for a while, looking at the frog and then at her reflection in the water. She thought about things that are always hungry and turn things red when they touch them. Finally, Eliza had an idea. "The answer is fire," she said again, hoping she was right. The frog smiled and nodded. "You are correct," it croaked. "You may cross the bridge." Eliza walked across the bridge, grateful for the frog's guidance. On the other side of the river, Eliza found a small village. The houses were made of candy, and the air smelled like fresh cookies. The villagers, tiny people with wings, greeted her warmly. They told her she was close to finding the way home, but there were still more challenges ahead. Eliza felt a mix of relief and anticipation. She knew she had to stay focused and keep solving the riddles. With a determined heart, Eliza thanked the villagers and continued on her path, ready for the next challenge that awaited her in this magical world. Eliza left the village of Whispers and followed a winding path that led her to the entrance of a cave. The cave glowed with the light of countless crystals embedded in its walls. As she entered, she felt a chill in the air. The cave was beautiful but mysterious, and Eliza could sense that another challenge awaited her inside. Deep inside the cave, Eliza encountered a tall, shimmering figure made entirely of crystal. "I am the Crystal Guardian," it said in a melodic voice. "To pass through this cave, you must solve my riddle. Only then will you find the way forward." The Crystal Guardian's voice echoed throughout the cave as it spoke the riddle. "I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but you can't go outside. What am I?" Eliza thought about the riddle. It reminded her of something familiar, something she used often. After a moment, she realized the answer and said, "You are a keyboard." The Crystal Guardian nodded, and a small crystal key appeared in Eliza's hand. "You are correct," the Guardian said. "This key will help you on your journey." Eliza thanked the Guardian and continued through the cave, holding the crystal key tightly. As Eliza exited the cave, she found herself at the entrance of a vast labyrinth made of tall green hedges. The path was unclear, and she knew she would need to be clever to find her way through. With the crystal key in her hand, she stepped into the labyrinth. In the centre of the labyrinth, Eliza met the maze keeper, a wise and friendly fox. "To find the exit," the maze keeper said, "you must answer my riddle. Are you ready?" The fox continued, "Here is your riddle. I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Eliza thought about the different meanings of the words in the riddle. She smiled as she figured it out. "You are a joke," she answered. The maze keeper nodded and pointed to a hidden door in the hedge. "Well done," the fox said. "This door will lead you out of the labyrinth." Eliza thanked the maze keeper and used the crystal key to unlock the door. She stepped through and found herself on a new path, feeling a sense of accomplishment. The path led Eliza to the foot of a tall, shining tower. She knew this was her final challenge. At the top of the tower, she would find the way back home. Taking a deep breath, Eliza began to climb the winding stairs, determined to complete her journey. At the top of the tower, Eliza met the Tower Guardian, a wise old man with kind eyes. "You have done well to come this far," he said, "but to return home, you must solve one last riddle." The Tower Guardian spoke the final riddle. "I am not alive, but I can grow. I do not have eyes, but I will cry. What am I?" Eliza thought carefully, remembering all she had learned on her journey. She smiled as the answer came to her. "You are a cloud," she said. The Tower Guardian nodded, and a portal opened behind him. "You are correct," he said. "This portal will take you back home." Eliza thanked the Guardian and stepped into the portal. She felt herself being lifted once again, just like when she first opened the book. Eliza closed her eyes and, when she opened them, found herself back in her grandmother's attic, holding the ancient book. She felt a sense of wonder and accomplishment, knowing she had completed her magical journey and found her way back home. Eliza sat in her grandmother's attic, the ancient book still in her hands. She couldn't believe the incredible adventure she had just experienced. The memories of the magical world were still fresh in her mind, and she knew she would never forget them. Feeling grateful for her journey, Eliza closed the book gently and placed it back in the chest where she had found it. She knew that the book held immense power and magic, but she also understood that it belonged in the attic, waiting for the next curious explorer to discover its secrets. Excited to share her adventure, Eliza ran downstairs to find her grandmother. She eagerly told her all about the magical world she had visited, the riddles she had solved, and the challenges she had faced. Her grandmother listened with a smile, her eyes twinkling with wonder. As Eliza reflected on her journey, she realized that she had learned many valuable lessons along the way. She had learned to think quickly and creatively, to trust her instincts, and to never give up, even when faced with challenges. Most importantly, she had learned that magic can be found in the most unexpected places, if only you dare to explore.